Seriously. His traps are bigger than my whole body? What's happening, film friends? Dave the Film Junkie here, bringing you a film review of Black Adam. Black Adam, of course, stars Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Pierce Brosnan, Idris Hodges. Yeah, I totally went to like a movie that Dwayne Johnson was in, and of course it's directed by, I always mess up his name, so I'm not even going to try, but call it Sarah. You guys know who's directed this, and yes, finally we're here after all this time, after this long journey of Dwayne Johnson trying to get this movie on the big screen. It is here. I have now seen it, and you guys saw my first reaction review, and now I've sat with it for almost 24 hours, so here we go. Black Adam, how did I feel about it? I liked it. I liked it. Did I like all of it? No, of course not. You guys could tell, like, just by, my first reaction again like that. Let's talk about the things I did like. This is a beautifully shot movie. The visuals are pretty stunning. They're pretty stunning. I'm not, I'm just... we were all kind of worried, and I even said this too, it was like the fact of the color palette, that it was like a little too yellowy, and I think they kind of adjusted that. I mean, maybe at times it's still right there, but I get when you're in the desert landscape, you want that filter. It just helps create the atmosphere, I guess you could say. But man, I was actually very impressed by the cinematography in this movie, as well as the visual effects. The visual effects were pretty damn top notch. I mean, you get to that third act, and especially, and some showdowns and everything that's happening right there, it's just stunning. And with the mixture of the slow-mo stuff, which, yeah, there's a lot of slow-mo, and I think, Zack Snyder would be like, hey, good job. Is it overused? Yes. There's times where I was like, all right, you didn't need to keep on doing it. But there's times where I was like, wow, that's really cool. And yeah, there's just been many times where like the visual effects just look really good. And of course, Dwayne Johnson, I think he does well. I mean, obviously, we always joke about like, oh, Dwayne Johnson just plays Dwayne Johnson, which, yeah, it's true. Absolutely true. But at the same time, I'm kind of going, all right, but this is a little bit different. But yeah, for the most part, it's still Dwayne Johnson. But I do like the fact that he was just murdering people. The JSA, you got Pierce Brosnan, Dr. Fate, Mr. Kent Nelson, which, of course, he does a good job. Of course, not enough. Not nearly enough, okay? Not nearly enough. And like, Mr. Hodges, too, playing Hawkman. I wasn't too keen on his character. I'll have to, that's probably not the word. I don't know. There's times where I was like, you kind of bug me, dude. Like, but then at the same time, you kind of understand. And then, of course, just thinking about the character of Hawkman, and you kind of go, okay, I understand it. But then, of course, you got the two newbies, which I thought was weird when it came to the JSA. And of course, they really didn't talk about JS. They kept saying Justice Society. They never really said America, because I don't know, is that like a 4-letter word now? We're not getting political. Shut up. I would like to see more for sure, but I don't know. It just felt like when it came to, I would say that this is one of my gripes, is the fact that I was like, all right, the JSA, there wasn't enough time to even be like, hey, I like these people. I mean, of course, you have these two newbies. That's what I didn't really understand. It's like, okay, you're going to have newbies, just recruit some newbies to take on this dude that's been sleeping for 5,000 years and has like this crazy, strength, magic, all this kind of stuff. You're really just going to bring on these two newbies. I mean, Cyclone, don't get me wrong, she was badass, and her visual effects were just awesome, especially with that flowing hair and like the way that her costume was and everything, and the slow motion with her. Really cool stuff. But at the same time, Atom Smasher, I mean, he annoyed me a little bit. And that's another one of my gripes too, is the fact that when they were going for the comedy, it didn't work. Just didn't work. I mean, that's the thing. You had like some comedy relief right here that they were trying to go for with Atom Smasher, and then of course, what's her name's brother, Sasha Shahi's character's brother, just didn't work. It was like, all right. Nice try, but it's not really working. I would say, like, when it came to the comedy aspect of this movie, I was like, all right, well, some of it kind of is when it comes to Black Adam, and maybe when it comes to like, when it comes to Dr. Fate and Hawkman, okay, a little bit right there, but for the most part, the comedy just didn't really work that well. I'll admit, guys, for the first half hour, I was kind of The opening and everything, and just the way that the story was unfolding felt very generic, and it just felt like there was nothing there. And there's a thing that they do that was bugging me, which I thought could have been done better, because there were some great visuals when it came to flashbacks. Great visuals when it came to the flashbacks, but the way that they unfold the flashbacks bugged me. I didn't like it. I think there was a better way that they could have like approached the flashback storytelling, not being like expositional when it needed to be. That's what it felt like. And I was just kind of going like, especially with the opening and kind of just like giving some backstory, leading into that backstory. It felt like it was like, I don't know, like even just listening to the ADR, I'm like, did you record this in a bathroom? You could tell some things were rearranged, probably because of test screenings and whatnot and all that stuff. But yeah, I was just like, some things I just had problems with the way that they told the story, the flashback. I mean, I get how, they were trying to unfold it to be like this reveal, which, if you know the backstory, you kind of already knew that wasn't going to be the case. But yeah, I was just kind of going, I just didn't like how they approached the flashbacks of the story. And honestly, they could have did something better with it, because the visuals look good, but just the way that they were placed in there at various different spots, wasn't a fan of. Wasn't really a fan of this kid too. I mean, obviously they have to like do this whole thing. I mean, I guess it was almost like they were almost doing like a Freddy thing when it came to Shazam. They had this kid right here who was like, oh yeah, look at this, we got this hero right here, and here he is, and blah blah blah, and you have to have a catchphrase, and blah, just kind of doing that whole thing again. And I went, no, don't do that. I didn't really like that aspect. I mean, there's a scene at the end too where this kid is supposed to like get people riled up, and I went, you're not doing a good job. But that third act, that final act, again, was great. And I'm going to give a little bit of a spoiler review. Like, I'll let you guys know when I do it. And then we're going to do a spoiler talk on the Vodka stream tonight, so make sure you tune into that. Full discussion talking about that. But, when it came to the final act, that was probably, like, my favorite of all of it. It just, like, I started out, and then it started, there was things I was like, that's cool, that's cool, and then finally, as, like, things started picking up, and, like, when the story takes a different kind of turn, when I was like, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting that. And then all of a sudden the final act, I went, oh, okay, I really like all of this right here. Most of it, I should say. But yeah, there you go. All right, so that's my initial review. So let's give a little bit of a spoiler, right? 3, 2, 1. Well, I mean, that Henry Cavill Superman scene was probably one of the best things ever. My theater cheered too, guys. My theater cheered, claps and stuff like that, so that's a good sign. I totally didn't even think, oh yeah, he gets a new costume after he got sent and got locked up. Obviously with Amanda Waller being there, he got locked up in like the underwater like prison thing, which I thought was cool. And I'm going, who the hell else is locked up underneath there? And I thought that was cool how Dr. Fate was like, dude, we need you, get out. And he like did his whole projection thing. And I thought that was pretty cool, like little scene right there. And then he got a new suit with the cape and everything. It was all polished, and I was like, cool, sweet. And I like the fact that when he sat down in his throne and he did the exact pose that we've known, the Black Adam pose, and then all of a sudden he goes, it doesn't feel right, and he smashes the throne. I was like, well, that's pretty interesting. He's got some issues, but yeah, I mean, when it comes to the whole sun thing and the statue, that was like, all right, that was cool that they were like trying to throw people off. But again, I didn't like how they did the flash backing. And then of course, when it comes to Dr. Fate and his fate, of course, he dies, but does he really die? Who knows? I mean, maybe he's just in the spirit world somewhere. We got Constantine coming back. Maybe he can do something to summon the guy back, or maybe he's just in another realm. I don't know. Who knows when it comes to that? But yes, he did sacrifice himself, but at the same time, it's like you didn't really feel for it because you didn't really know the characters. But yep, that's pretty much it when it comes to the spoiler talk. Again, we'll talk more about it tonight on the Vodka stream, so tune into that. And that's pretty much it, guys. When it comes to the movie, I enjoyed it for the most part. I do have gripes, and like I said, if I watch it again now that I know how it starts off and how everything goes, I definitely will enjoy it more the second time. But yeah, it just was a little meh for like the first like half hour, and then I started gradually getting better for me, and then the final act kind of went like, oh wow, this is actually, I'm really enjoying this a lot more. And was not when he got Sabak and he like fucking ripped him in half. Oh, that was like, honestly probably my favorite shot. And he's just like, ah, like that. Just ripped him out. I was like, wow, PG-13, but there's no blood. It was like lava-y, fiery blood kind of thing. But I was like, wow, I couldn't believe that. I was like, that was such a cool shot. I was probably my favorite shot of the movie when he just grabs him by the horns and just rips him in half. And he's just, yeah, like that. I was like, damn, that was cool. That was really cool. That gave me fucking, even thinking about it right now, it gave me goosebumps. So there you go. All right, guys, that's it. Appreciate you guys clicking in. Make sure you, click into the vodka stream tonight. We'll be doing a full panel spoiler talk of the movie. Smash that like, thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Do all the stuff. Follow me on all the various sock meds and all that around me. Well, I don't even know if I'm doing this, using that. No, I'm not. I'm recording it just regularly. Anyways, all right, guys. Love you. Talk to you later.